Welcome to ACT of Mental Health, where we're learning about acceptance and commitment therapy and how to improve life more mindfully. In ACT, mindfulness plays a central role in improving mental health. So, what is mindfulness and how is it used in ACT? Well, mindfulness is a human experience, not a transcendental one. So, the purpose is not to get in touch with a higher being or transcend, but to connect with your own experience in the present moment. Metaphorically, learning mindfulness is a lot like learning to drive a manual vehicle when you've only driven automatic vehicles. I remember not long after I got a license and I learned how to drive an automatic vehicle, my dad said it was time for me to learn how to drive his stick shift in his truck. And my dad was very patient with me while I learned the art of driving a stick shift. Trying to hold my foot on the brake while also pressing in the clutch, moving the gear into first, and then moving my foot over to the gas, and then slowly releasing the clutch so that it would go. And eventually, after I figured out many, many times, after stalling dozens of times, I figured out the flow of how to switch gears and how to naturally drive a stick shift vehicle. Now, eventually, driving a manual vehicle was automatic and fun, and it opened up a new experience of driving for me. Mindfulness is learning how to disengage from your automatic thinking and shift into a curious observer in a neutral mode, and then re engaging in life according to your values. With that in mind, let's learn how to live mindfully using a simple exercise found in ACT called dropping anchor. Now, prerequisite to mindfulness is breathing. Now, you may say, Sean, I breathe fine. What are you talking about? Breathing's natural, but in mindfulness and meditation, breathing is an integral step in the process. So I can't just assume that you know how to breathe and set up these exercises. There's a reason why officiants will tell a bride and groom before the ceremony to remember to breathe and bend their knees. Because if they don't, and I've seen this happen, after long periods of standing, they can collapse or hyperventilate, increasing their blood pressure and heart rate, and so it can make them a nervous wreck. I'll teach you two methods of breathing that you can use when engaging in mindfulness. The first is called the 2-in-1 method. This method is quite straightforward. For every breath in through your nose, you're going to exhale twice in length through your mouth. So let's try this with a 4-second inhale and an 8-second exhale. When you're ready, let's begin. Let's do that one more time to feel the effect. You should notice a calming sensation in your upper chest. This is your parasympathetic nervous system shifting from arousal to soothing. Next, let's learn the 4-7-8 method. This is similar to the 2-in-1 method with an additional step. So you're going to breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds and then exhale for 8 seconds. The additional step is in between the breaths. For this, you hold your breath for 7 seconds and then a whoosh with your exhale for 8 seconds. Essentially, you want to fill your lungs with air during the 4 seconds, experiencing the breath in your lungs for 7 seconds, and then whoosh out air for 8 seconds in preparation for more air to be breathed in the next attempt. So let's try it out. For this, you'll repeat this 4-7-8 method for 4 times to get the full effect. Now you're ready to learn how to shift your awareness and drop anchor. Go ahead and slow your breathing and focus on the air coming in through your lungs and then exhaling. Don't worry about breathing through your nose or mouth. Just focus on the air in your lungs and soothing your nervous system. Go ahead and get into a comfortable position. You can lie down if you want, but I would suggest being seated with your feet firmly on the ground. There's 3 components to the practice: A, C, and E. So you might like to remember dropping anchor as ACE. A stands for acknowledging thoughts and feelings, and I like to think of it as acknowledging, allowing, and accepting thoughts and feelings. So really being open to whatever it is that you're thinking and feeling in the moment. C is to connect with your body or to come back into the present moment. E stands for engage, Or it may look like re-engaging, where you're noticing that you've got some stress, maybe some worries, some anxiety happening, and it's really taken away your concentration, your focus, or whatever it is that you were attending to before you started this exercise. To get started, I want you to take on the role of being a curious scientist. I just want you to be curious about your experience in the moment. If it's safe and comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. This helps me to focus in and not be distracted about what's in the room. But go ahead, keep them open or closed. Really doesn't matter. So your task as a curious scientist is just to notice what's going on in your mind. So you may be noticing different thoughts that are coming up for you. Some may be kind of neutral. What's on the schedule for work today? Or there may be more worrying, repetitive, anxious thoughts. There's no right or wrong here. Just noticing and checking in about what thoughts are popping up for you. You may notice you're feeling a sense of overwhelm or stress or anxiety or sadness. And maybe you're even feeling that in a particular part of your body. So you can always check in, notice if there's any feeling, and then checking in to see if there's any sensation in the physical body that is showing up as well. And there's no problem if you can't feel any sensations in your physical body, but just noticing, how am I feeling right now? And like a scientist, you may even like to name your experiences in your mind. So it might be that you say to yourself, I'm having a worrying thought, or, ah, hello, worrying thought. Or it might be that you say, some overwhelmed feeling in my chest. Or perhaps I'm feeling anxious and noticing that in my stomach. So even though you have some experiences happening, some thoughts, some feelings, some sensations maybe in the body, I'm going to invite you to connect with your body. Now, to do this, I'm going to invite you to just dig the soles of your feet into the ground and raise the heels off so that your heels are off the ground and just the balls of your feet are on the ground. And then press your heels back into the ground and raise the balls of your feet. Now go back and forth a few times. Just feel what that feels like. You can wiggle your toes and see what that feels like as well as you connect with your body. Just notice the sensations on your feet. See if you can point your attention down there as you go back and forth on the ground. Perhaps noticing if you have socks on or shoes, and see if you can notice the contact between your skin and your socks or shoes. Just see what that feels like. Now stop moving your feet and bring your attention to your hands and place them on your knees. Now gently sway side to side, putting all your weight on one side and then the other side. And just notice what that feels like. Just record the observations like a curious scientist. Now, as this is happening, knowing that you've still got some uncomfortable thoughts and feelings going on at the same time, but you're in control of your body, I want you to bring your hands up and down your thighs, creating some friction, creating some heat and warmth underneath the palms of your hands as you connect with your physical body. There may still be some thoughts and feelings showing up as you do this. Now raise your hands and press your fingertips together, pushing away, and notice how that feels. Now move your shoulders up and down, really doing anything that brings your attention back to this present moment. If there's something that you feel inclined to do, that's within your abilities. You can do that now. Maybe reaching up above your head and stretching up to the ceiling, and then stretching down to connect with your body. Now I'm going to invite you back, opening your eyes if they've been closed. Just take a little look around the room, the space that you're in. And I want you to notice 3 things that you can see with your eyes. Notice 2 things you can hear with your ears. Notice one thing that you can smell, taste, or feel. And this brings us to the end of dropping anchor. To review, dropping anchor has three components that we've walked through as curious scientists. We first acknowledge our thoughts and feelings, allowing them to exist and accepting their presence. We then connect with our body by bringing our attention back to the here and now, whether that's moving our body and noticing what that's like, or pointing our attention to different sensations. Finally, we engage in the space that we're in, whether that's by noticing what we see with our eyes, hear with our ears, or sense with our smell, taste, or touch. We engage in what we're doing before we dropped anchor. Now, you may want to do this again and practice now that you know how it works. Maybe it was a little bit clunky the first time. Go ahead and rewind the video and try it out again. Mindfulness is a skill that we can learn that helps us to observe our experience with curiosity. With the aid of breathing techniques like the 2-to-1 method and the 4-7-8 method, we can calm our parasympathetic nervous system in preparation for dropping anchor. No matter what we experience, our journey towards a more purposeful and mindful life begins with a single click.